1, 2, 3. And you got a little mustache hair poking out of the mouth right there.
What?
Perfect.
No. Okay.
Perfect.
All right, SEZUR.
And what cruise are you from?
925. Mostly 9 to 5 gang.
Snoop, 9 to 5 LLC.
Ever tagged or whatever you were. Do you remember the first thing you tagged? What was it?
Oh, it was I think it said SMK, San Mateo Killers, and it was with a green Sharpie marker.
On what?
On like my middle school, the lunch tables, like on the seat, not even on the table.
Hard. And what, you just kept on? That was the birth of it all, or what?
Nah. That was like the birth fit came way after.
When did you start painting, like, for real, consistently?
2007 is when I like fell into it.
2007 was a good year for graffiti. What's your shindig?
Depends what I want from the day. I like day spots, like just spots where you can go and kick it and spend a little time. I say that, and then also like, I don't know, it has to be both, because there's nothing like just like catching tags. That's probably the best, actually. But the other thing that's the best is like just doing some really, really dope artwork that is gonna push people, or like that people see and they're like, whoa, like I didn't even think about it that way. Which, I mean, you could do that with the tag actually, but it's different. So both of them though are like essential. Like, gotta have both.
When you were coming up, who were you seeing the most, or who had the most inspiring stuff that you're like, oh man, that's it?
The most inspiring stuff, I don't know, growing up, I just remember seeing Code, and T-Rock, who like became like one of my brothers. Like I painted some of the dopest spots of that dude.
This is all Bay Area, right? These all Bay Area heads.
And then, I don't know, Oni is style master. Like, I feel like seeing his stuff has made me think about things differently, with just piecing and just what letters can look like.
As far as who's coming up now, who do you see doing it that you think, oh, that person's onto something, or these people are onto something in this day and age in Seattle, in Tacoma?
Honestly, like just like the people I know, like my friends, like I don't know, Elo's is really killing it.
Elo?
Mm-hmm. I see this dude Kodak around a little bit. I don't know, everyone, man, like phone sex in a different, I don't know, people are doing, like, that's the thing, like I appreciate tags, I appreciate like all these different styles, and so like I see people killing it in one arena, and then other people are like like pushing, like, I don't know, bringing character into their, like bringing characters in their stuff, or like illustration, or and just, I don't know. That's what's so cool about it, is that people bring like just different people bring their own twist to it. And that's what's cool about seeing graffiti, is that it's like just seeing a bunch of people, like what people will make, and seeing part of their, just like, it's like like you leave your fingerprint on something, except it's with a lot of intention. You like
Everybody has their own way of doing little things, huh? Little interesting things, I would think, definitely stick out.
Everyone that's important, meaning like people that don't put something of their own into it. Just like, what are you biting? Why are you biting?
What's the greatest thing you learned from graffiti that you use in everyday life?
Just, it kind of like leveled everything down, like just kind of seeing things as like more limitless. Like, it's not, it's like with graffiti, you would see stuff that you're like, that's so fucking sick, and you weren't just doing, you were just drawing on paper or whatever, and then you can push even what you looked at and admired, like, I don't know, like 5 years ago, or 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago, whatever. You can you can like push that even. So, in getting to the point from where you're admiring it to when you're pushing it, is like, that's a big, that's growth, like from just being, I don't know, man, there's all these ways I could talk about it. Graffiti's like a relationship with someone, in the way that it's like, it's a relationship with yourself, I guess. I sound all lit.
No, it's the Yerbs talking.
I sound all lit. I'm high. I'm fucking
No,
sober.
no, I mean, it's all your perspective on this. You might sound like, I don't know, kind of deep, or maybe, I don't know.
It's wild, like there's just like such a variety of people that I've met, like people with all kinds of intentions, all kinds of backgrounds, and outlooks, ways of seeing life, and some of it is just like a dead end kind of, or just like exactly that kind of gesture. Some people, it's like, what's next? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do to outdo what I just last did? And for some people, it's like just for fun, just like loving the experience of it. Hopefully, everyone, that's like a big part of it for everyone. I don't actually see a reason why to do it if you don't like it, if you don't love it. It makes it so easy to do so much when you get something out of it like that, like where it's just like, just feeling alive and creating stuff and looking at it, like the next day, like seeing it in public, and you're just like, oh. And everyone who writes, who watches this, knows exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe not everyone who writes, because that's a variety of people, but yeah.
Who were you painting with when you first started doing a lot of stuff in Tacoma?
Obia.
Yeah.
It's a hike right there.
Yeah.
If you've never been hiking before, that was one right there.
Andrew, can you? Andrew. Andrew. Can you hold my camera? Yeah.
Rest in peace to Obia.
Rest in peace to Obia. I'm not surprised that he comes up in an interview about graffiti, because that dude was like, he was my brother, and like he was like my first like partner in crime, where like I knew, like we would go to spots and like we didn't even have to talk sometimes. We knew like what, we were just like in sync.
So, as far as this new graffiti generation and Instagram and everything, and how Instagram's had such a big role on graffiti lately, but it seems that it's in a weird place right now. Where do you see all this going from here?
Oh, man, I don't know. Honestly, I feel like it's kind of sad to me, because it's so easy to get attention now. Like you don't fuck, for all we, like, for some people, they could just be doing from the get-go, like doing really cool stuff just like in their basement or in their backyard or whatever, and it's like in a picture you can't really tell, and so it's not like the act of vandalizing and putting something in public where you're not supposed to, and like getting all the like the live sites. I don't know, there's nothing like seeing graffiti in person. There's no, yeah, I don't know.
It is dope to see what other people are doing too, all over the world, right?
No, yeah, that's true, and like that's the thing too, is, you know, then you can get inspired, and there could be no one around you doing anything that inspires you, but if you're seeing what people are doing other places that inspire you, then that then what you paint like brings that into your own graffiti community, or community where just the area people see if you're really painting and getting out there and doing it, then people are going to see whatever style you're bringing. And man, I'm talking about people seeing, but it's in two ways, because people see in real life what they see on the internet. I don't know, it's weird. I think it is cool though, because you can share and keep up with people. I don't know, there's something about just like having like the experience of like scoping out, like knowing your city, and like knowing like the schedules of things, or like just knowing spots, and like knowing how long it'll run, and like when it'll get buffed, and how many people will see it. That in a place, like not just on the internet, there's so much that comes with that comes with like scoping out the spots, and like,
Right, you used to put a lot of math into that type of shit, right? Because now you're wasting your time. So it wasn't like I could just, that's a super common thing to talk about in graffiti. You weren't able to just get the flicks, you know? And
yeah, and I think that experience of like not just being only the flick, like all the things that came with, you know, like lurking and like checking stuff out, and just being in these places, painting in them, and like the things you might encounter. I don't know, all that is like so rich to me, like that is, I don't know. I think that that's like a really, like I say rich because it's like a really potent, like, I don't know, important part of the graffiti experience is like, I don't know, walking on random streets and like, and being in places that you wouldn't ever be at like 4 a.m. unless you were doing this. Man,
So,
it's so cool. It's so cool. It's like, it's the best thing in the world because you like I think that's part of what I got addicted to with graffiti was being like a super nerd about it, like knowing, like just like always, like when you're when you're in the car or whatever, when you're walking around, you're always looking at everything. Like you see any tag, or you're looking for any tag or anything new. I guess, you know, if you're in a place where it's always crushed, then that's one thing. But if you live in a place where it's like either like it's buffed really quick or there's just not that many people doing it, then your radar, like anything something is going on, you know about it.
I know, isn't it crazy to think about benching? Like, how real benching used to be to actually go and see the trains, and now you're just scrolling through thousands and hundreds of thousands of benching photos. Like, you don't even really need to leave the house to bench at all. You know what I mean? It's very interesting.
But the thing is, though, it's because you could say you don't have to leave the house to bench, but you do, though, because you didn't. We're just looking through all those photos. You didn't bench. You just looked through a bunch of photos. Benching is going to a yard, being around trains, you know, however it took to get to where you are when you take the pictures. I don't know, the sounds, the smells, like it's a whole experience that you just can't translate online.
Okay. I got 2 more questions. Where do you see graffiti going in 20 years? As far as 2040, going to hit a spot and graffiti like in the streets, and where do you see it going in 2040?
I mean, let me think on this. No, I think we'll see what happens with the technology, like with like just the drone technology that's around. Like, I think that we're in 40 years. I don't think there'll be much.
20 years.
20 years, whatever.
2040.
10 years. I don't think there'll be much privacy. I think that we're just a step away from like strict surveillance.
Yeah. And what do you think it'll be like, graffiti? And do you think people will be out here doing it? You think it'll still be around? Do you think it'll only be murals? Or
I think it's not going to ever go away. Graffiti is here to stay as long as there's people. I guess it'll go away if we get to like if we go into like a police state, you know, like where people can't get out and do anything. I just think graffiti, that's the thing that scares me about surveillance, is that it's like if people always think that they're being filmed, then
people aren't gonna paint, or well, last question. Youngsters getting into graffiti, what would you say to them? Kids that are just starting in 2020, what advice would you give them?
I wish I had this question ahead of time. Well, I think I'm gonna say something that I hope everyone finds, which is like community. I think is like really important, a big important part of graffiti. And I say that like because there's a way that it's not, because like that's not why you fell in, like for me that's not why I fell in love with it. Like my friend started, but then he like kind of fell off, and I just like moved forward ahead. And Obia was my like I had been doing it a little bit before I met Obia, and so there's like that. It's like a relationship with yourself, painting graffiti. But then there's the community aspect of it, which is like the other side of like if you got half a sandwich, you need the other half of the sandwich to make a full sandwich. And so you got a relationship with yourself, and you got the community. And like I feel so lucky to have met some of the coolest people I know from painting. I mean, some people just randomly, like Obia, like at a bus stop, because he saw like a tag on my skateboard, and he recognized the style. It didn't say like what, it didn't say my word, but he's like, he's like, what do you write? And I don't even remember our response, but two of the most important, like two things about graffiti, two of the best things about graffiti is there's a relationship with myself where I grew, and then also a community where I grew with community, and meaning like my crews, the people I painted with. It's like I grew a lot over the time painting, and like that really it's so much like I don't know, it's changed. It makes me see things so differently. Like I'm so glad I got into graffiti.